In this video, we are asked to find the mass of bromine that will saturate 5.2 grams of but1 3-ine. As you know, this is a stoichiometric calculation, and the first thing we have to do is to write the equation for the reaction, and then we balance it. This is the first thing we have to do. So in writing the equation, we know that bromine is diatomic, that will be Br2. But then what will be the structural formula and the chemical formula for but1 3-ine? Let's determine the structure for that first. From this but, we know that the chain has 4 carbon atoms. And then from this 1 and 3-ine, that tells us that there is a double bond after carbon 1. In this case, you're moving from the left to the right. And then there's a triple bond after carbon 3. So then, how many hydrogen atoms will be present here? That may be a bit difficult to find, but not so difficult. How many hydrogen atoms are going to be present in this chain? Let's just use an easy method. In organic chemistry, we know that carbon is tetravalent. So all the bonds around the carbon atom has to be 4. If we look at this carbon atom, there are 3 bonds around it. So one more will make it 4. We'll put a hydrogen atom here. Around this carbon atom, the bond surrounding it is already 4. So we can't add any more hydrogen atom there. Around this carbon atom, the bonds you are seeing around it is 3. So one more bond will make it 4. So we add hydrogen atom there. Around this carbon atom, there are only 2 bonds we are seeing there. So we are going to add 2 more bonds to make it 4. So it's from here we can see that there are only 4 hydrogen atoms in the chain of but1 3-ine. So this is the structure for but1 3-ine. So now we can go ahead and write the equation. In writing the equation, they said bromine reacts with but1 3-ine. The but1 3-ine has 4 carbon atoms and then 4 hydrogen atoms. So C4, H4. Now what will be the product of the reaction between bromine and but1 3-ine? Now try to remember that this is an addition reaction. In an addition reaction, A will react with B to form a single compound, which is AB. A adds on to B to form AB. So similarly, these two will react together to form a single product. So what there will be the structural formula for the single product? We must also remember that alkynes have triple bond. When they react with a halogen in this case, usually this is supposed to occur in steps. You know, here there are only 2 bonds that can be broken. There are 2 pi bonds here that can be broken. So when the 2 pi bonds are broken, they are broken in steps. So usually alkynes will take up 1 molecule of bromine to form an alkene first. After that, they will take up another molecule. Then a single bond will now be left. So usually this is supposed to occur in 3 steps. But then, in order to save our time, all we're just going to do is to write the overall reaction. In the overall reaction, we know that all the bonds that will be left will be single bonds, because they said the compound is saturated. So let's write the 4 carbon atoms we originally have, and then the 4 hydrogen atoms we also have at the beginning. Let these ones shift this way. Here you have an hydrogen atom. So in the overall reaction, all we need to just do is we fill up the rest spaces with bromine. We fill up the rest spaces with bromine atom. So you have been able to fill up the rest spaces with bromine atom. So as you can see from here, 3 molecules of bromine will react with both 1 ion to form the compound you have seen above. So I'm going to rewrite this equation again. 3 molecules of bromine is reacting with both 1 ion to form, if you count all the carbon atoms here, you would have 4 carbon atoms, of course 4 hydrogen atoms, but then the bromine atoms now is now 6. So this is the compound formed. So now back to the question. We are asked to find the mass of bromine that will react with 5.2 grams of both 1 ion. How do we solve this mass to mass calculation? Since what we have here is mass, above it we're going to find the whole reacting mass you have here. Each bromine atom is 80 grams, and here there are 6 atoms of bromine. So the whole 6 atoms of bromine, that will be 6 times 80, 480 grams. From the reaction, 480 grams of bromine is going to be required to saturate this compound. Now from here we have 5.2 grams. What is the total reacting masses here? Each carbon atom is 12. 12 times 4 is 48. Plus these 4 hydrogen atoms, which is 4 grams. So this will give us 52 grams. So now from the equation, 480 grams of bromine will completely saturate 52 grams of both 1 ion. That is our principle. And that will be our first line in the equation. So if if 480 grams of bromine will react with 52 grams of both 1 ion, therefore X gram of bromine will react with 5.2 grams of both 1 ion. If you cross multiply from here, X is 480 times 5.2 divided by 52. And the answer you will arrive at here is 48 grams. That is the answer to the question. So our answer to the question is option B. Thank you for watching. For more of these videos, kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel.